Alright, so this is demonstration teaching para po sa Mathematics grade 9. Our topic for today is about word problems involving right triangles. So, itong topic na to, this is what we discussed last week. Meaning to say, for today, I am going to continue what we have learned from the previous topic. So, what are the milks again of the lesson? So, the milk or the most essential learning competency is uses trigonometric ratios to solve real life problems involving right triangles. Again, we were going to encounter the trigonometric ratio. So, anim yun. May encounter natin siya today. And we're going to apply those trigonometric ratio in the real life situation. Tuloy natin. Again, i-recall ulit natin. So, what are the steps? Problem solving involving trigonometric ratios. Although, we, from different lessons before, we have a lot of problem solvings. But this time, since we're dealing with trigonometric ratios, we have different approach or additional steps when we are solving or when we are dealing problem solving lessons. So what are those? So i-recall nga ulit natin again. So ano yung mga steps in problem solving involving trigonometric ratios? Number one, so draw a diagram. Transform it into a geometric triangle and label each part correctly. Number two, determine the given and the question that needs to be answered. Number three, identify the corresponding trigonometric formula to be used. Number four, show your solution. And number five, the last, present the conclusion. So there you have it. No? So ito yung mga steps na diniscuss natin since last week that we're going to reapply it again in our lessons, which is problem solving in trigonometric ratios. So i-refresh natin. So ano tong mga steps na to? Gawin ulit natin. So let's have some example. Okay. So let me read the problem. Example, problem solving. An airplane is flying at a height of 4 kilometers above the ground. So meaning to say, we're talking about an airplane which is high above the ground, 4 kilometers. Mula dun sa ground, going up, the distance between the airplane and then the ground is 4 kilometers. So that would be the height. And then the distance along the ground from the airplane to the airport is 6 kilometers. Which means, since dahil of course, the airplane is on the top of the ground, so the distance naman between the airplane, alright, and then the airport is 6 kilometers above the ground. Alright? And then the question is, what is the angle of depression from the airplane to the airport? So again, let's have some recall again about the angle of the depression na nararapat pa ba natin? Let's have some figure here, no? This one. So the angle of depression is an angle from the horizontal to the line of sight of the observer to the object. So as you can see, the person that we have here, yung ating demonstration figure. So on yung line of sight, so from our eyes towards to the object, that is the line of sight. And then if the object is below the line of sight, that is the angle that's formed between them, we call it angle of depression. So yun yung hahanapin natin dito since the airplane is on the above the ground. So the from the airplane, the distance from the airplane going down to the airport, that is the angle of depression. So yun yung hahanapin natin in this type of problem. So going back to the problem, so ito yan, no? So isa-isayin natin yung mga given. So meron na tayong number 1. So of course, so step 1, draw a diagram, transform it into geometric triangle, and label each part correctly. So meron na tayo ditong figure. Ang gagawin na lang natin, label lang natin each part of it. When we say label all those given sides kung ano yung available, which is the 4 and the 6 kilometers, which is here in our figure. Ayan. Makikita po natin. And then, since we're talking about, yun nga, yung angle of depression, as you can see in the figure, there is a small a that is alpha. Alright, in the Greek letter we call it alpha, which is a representation of an angle. Alright, so that is what we are going to find out in this question. So let's draw a triangle. Alright, so if we draw a triangle, there you have it. So that's it. Look at that. So ang triangle niya wala dun sa ibabang part ng figure ha, on the top part. Bakit nandoon yung triangle? Since we're talking about angle of depression, again, kung titignan ninyo, yung line of sight kasi ng airplane, nasa taas din. Yun yung line of sight. Tapos yung pababang distance, papunta dun sa, from the airplane going down to the airport, that is the line towards to the object. The line towards to the object from the airplane going down to the airport. Now, so if we look on the figure, so we have 4 kilometers, 6 kilometers. Let's set aside the diagram. Kunin natin yung triangle. So we have here, so again, let's put all the parts of the triangle. I mean, yung mga given measurements. So we have, of course, the 4 kilometer. Dito ko siya nilagay. So since the airplane is on top, no? So the distance from the ground going up is the 4 kilometer. Then we have the 6 kilometer. And then, of course, the angle, the alpha, the representation of the missing angle. And, of course, the question mark, actually. Yung distance mula dun sa airplane, pababa, dun sa airport. So, yun yung question mark. Now, if we try to go back again dun sa 6 trigonometric ratios, no? Because I'll remember, since we're talking about the alpha here, the missing angle, so we need to figure it out which one is the opposite side, which one is the adjacent side. Of course, the question mark here, yung nawawalang measurement, no? Na hindi naman given, that would be the hypotenuse. Very obvious. So, ang nawawala na lang, alamin natin which one is opposite, which one is adjacent. So, of course, syempre, yan, the adjacent side, yung 6 kilometer, and then the opposite side is the 4 kilometer. Alright? So, tignan natin. Now, so, since we already draw the diagram, we transform it into geometric triangle and label each part correctly, so step number 2, in problem solving, we need to determine the given and the question that needs to be answered. So, we have already the given, the 6 kilometer and the 4 kilometer. And then, what we need to figure out is the question. So, ang question dito sa given, ang question in the problem solving is that, what is the angle of depression from the airplane to the airport? So, ang hahanapin natin is yung alpha, the missing angle. So, that would be the step 2. Next, step number 3. According to steps, identify the corresponding trigonometric formula to be used. So, we're going to identify what type of trigonometric ratios ang gagamitin natin. So, again, let's go back again to those ratios, yung 6. So, ano-ano nga ba yun? This one, okay? So, we have the sine, we have the cosine, the tangent, the cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So, 6 yan. Now, so how are we going to figure out kung alin sa 6 na to yung gagamitin natin trigonometric ratios? Again, go back dun sa figure. Ano ba ang available na side? Wala tayong hypotenuse. So, obviously, yun yung question mark, no? But what we have here is the opposite side and the adjacent side. So, dalawa yan. So, pag namili tayo ng trigonometric ratios, we're looking to that part wherein merong adjacent at merong opposite side na definition. So, alin kaya dito yon? So, kung titingnan natin, the process of elimination gawin natin, siyempre tatanggalin ko tong sine dahil meron siyang hypotenuse. tatanggalin ko itong cosine. Kasi meron that is adjacent over hypotenuse ulit. Wala tayong hypotenuse. Tatanggalin ko yung cosecant, obviously, kasi it's hypotenuse over opposite. Wala tayong hypotenuse. And of course, tatanggalin ko din si secant dahil it's hypotenuse over adjacent. So, anong natira? Actually, dalawa na lang. So, si tangent at si cotangent, no? So, alin sa dalawa ang gagamitan natin? Actually, kahit alin dyan, pwede natin gamitan. We can use tangent to use it in our given problem, and we can also use cotangent for solving our given problem. But the thing is, since gagamit kasi tayo ng calculator or scientific calculator katulad nito, no? So we need to use a trigonometric ratio that is easily to type it out sa calculator. Sa scientific calculator kasi, ang meron lamang ditong available is sine, cosine, and tangent. Although, meron naman technique to identify the cotangent. We can type the 1 divided by tangent to figure out the cotangent value. But then, since parang hindi tayo mahirapan sa pagta-type sa calculator, we need to look for a trigonometric ratio that is also available here. And that is tangent. So, gagamitin natin si tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. So, balik tayo dun sa ating given. So, nahanap na natin. No? So, step 3, we already identify the trigonometric formula, which is tangent, opposite over adjacent. Now, step number 4. Ito na, sa 4. Ito yung actually importante sa lahat ng steps. We need to show our solution. So, paano nga ba ito? So, isa-isay na natin. Okay. So, this is our solution. And sinas-aside ko lang yung triangle na yung adjacent side and the opposite side. Now, so, our formula or our chosen trigonometric ratio is the tangent theta equals, or tangent alpha, since we are using alpha, equals opposite over adjacent side. Now, just substitute the value ng opposite side and adjacent side. Of course, that is tangent theta equals 4 over 6. Now, take a look before we proceed, no? Before we divide or multiply or anything. Just look at the fraction. The fraction is 4 all over 6, which is, we can actually reduce it to lowest term. Kasi si 4 and 6, there is a common, greatest common factor, which is 2. We can divide them both, and then the lowest fraction will be 2/3. That's it. So that's one more technique. Huh? So if you think that we can reduce the lowest term, we can do that. Okay, we can do that while using while on our solution. So tangent theta is equal to 2/3. And then of course, syempre, since we're looking for theta, we have to get the arcsine of the tangent. So, magiging arcsine, yung may negative 1, arcsine, arctangent. So, yung may negative 1, that is arctangent, open and close parenthesis, 2/3. Now, so ito na. So, we need to use, of course, our scientific calculator. So, in the scientific calculator, since we are going to type out yung arctangent divided by, parenthesis 2 divided by 3, which is, the value, of course, is 33.69 degrees. Don't forget, that is very important, don't forget to write down the unit of degrees, yung merong bilog sa taas. Right? So the value of theta is 33.69 degrees. And last one, ito yung step 5, yung pinaka-importante din. According to step 5, we have to present the conclusion. So, paano ba to? So, ano na ba naging conclusion? So, yun lang naman yun. Actually, ilalagay lang natin as our final answer in a sentence format. So, our conclusion here will be, therefore, the airport has an angle of depression of 33.69 degrees from the airplane. So, there you have it. So, yun yung magiging conclusion natin. It's actually a final answer which is in a sentence format. So, ganun na naman siya kadali. Alright, so now, so that's it. So I think that's enough, no? So I'll give you a lot of examples last week, and then this one is a continuation. So I guess you have a lot of idea on how to compute it. So let's have some engagement. So madali lang to, dalawa lang. So let's try to answer this one, engagement. So solve for the missing value in each problem. So I'll give you time to answer this one. Madali lang to. Number 1, find the measure of angle A. Yan. So if you look at the figure, no? So if you look at the figure, yung height ng tree is 6 meter, then the distance from the tree going down to the object is 12 meter, and then ang hanapin natin is angle A. Actually, this is angle of, correct, elevation. So alamin natin, no? So ano kaya ang magiging trigonometric ratios? What is the what type of trigonometric function that we're going to use in this type of example? So since meron tayong opposite side adjacent, technically ang gagamitin natin ay, yes, tangent. Correct. So what is our answer here? Ang sagot is 26.57 degrees. Okay. Next one. So number 2. So number 2, we're looking for the height of the flagpole. So ito medyo tricky to, no? Kasi dalawa kasi yung magiging angle na given. Isang elevation which is 65 degrees, and then on the bottom side, yung angle of depression ang kuha is 30 degrees. Now, take a look. Now, if you have noticed, sa angle of depression, meron siyang 30 degrees. Now, since this is a right triangle, it seems it's obvious that the measure, the one of the angle of the, we called it right triangle because the measure of the angle is 90 degrees. So if there is a 30, technically, the bottom angle is 60 degrees. So we called it 30, 60, 90 triangle. And in that case, okay, in that case, meron tayong tinatawag na 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. So, what does it mean? No? If the triangle is 30, 60, 90 triangle, we can easily identify the sides by this. Actually, yung kanyang hypotenuse is 2a, which means yung value lang ng shorter leg is just the twice or times 2 of the hypotenuse. Tapos yung value ng longer side is just multiply it by square root of 3. So, ganun siya kasimple. So, ibig sabihin, in this example, sa number 2, okay, yung bottom part, no, we don't need to solve it anymore by using trigonometric ratios. Bakit? Kasi we can easily identify the height of the flagpole dun sa lower part. Okay? So, what does it mean? So, dahil ang distance na lang, yung line of sight ng tao from the eye go towards to the flagpole is 3m. Para makuha natin yung height ng flagpole sa baba, just divide it by square root of 3. And then we got square root of 3 over 3. Nasa bottom part ng to, nasa bottom part. Square root of 3 over 3. Next one. Ito na. Yung nasa taas, ito na. So, 65 degrees, that is angle of elevation. And then the only available side is the 3 meter. Yung nasa adjacent side niya. Okay? So, paano natin ito may figure out? Dito na tayo gagamit ng trigonometric ratios, which is, I use tangent. Bakit? Kasi the missing is opposite, The missing side is opposite yung height ng plug hole. And then the given is 3M. Yun yung adjacent side. So technically, ang nakuha kong value doon is 6.43 plus the bottom part, yung square root of 3 over 3. So just add them together. The final answer, so I just write it down here, is 7.01 meter. Or, pwede rin namang 7 meter. That is the height of the flagpole. Okay? So, hindi ko na pinakita pa yung solutions, ha? Next. Okay, so this is the last one. This is the last one, the assessment part. Okay? Para malaman natin kung talagang may natutunan kayo dito. So, number 1, so solve the following word problems using the method that we discussed. Number 1, OB1. OB1 is a person. OB1 is standing at a distance of 15 meters from the base of the tree. From where he is standing, he can see the top of the tree. If the tree is 15 meters high and OB1 is 1 meter tall, what is the angle of elevation of the top of the tree? Number 2, a bamboo pole is leaning against a tree. If the height of the tree is 12.2 meters and the angle made by the pole and the ground is 40 degrees, what is the length of the pole? So, I'll give you time to do this one. Okay, time is up. So, tingnan natin, checkan na natin kung tama ba kayo. So, isa-isay natin. Number 1, the answer is 43.03 degrees. And how is that? I just use tangent theta. Okay, kasi opposite si 14, adjacent naman si 15. Okay, number 2. What is the answer number 2? Number 2 is 18.98 meter. I just use the sign. Dahil ang height of the tree is 12.2 meters. Alright? Ang hinahanap kasi is the height of the pole. Ang hinahanap is the length of the pole. So, technically, that is, since the pole is leaning against the tree, that would be the hypotenuse. So, we have sine, of course, opposite, and the hypotenuse. Okay? Very good. So, I guess you know this already. So, in your notebook, just sort of reflections here. In your notebook, communicate your personal assessment as indicated in the learner's assessment card. So, sa notebook nyo, pakisulat, of course, the 3 main thing that I need to ask in your reflection part. Number 1 is, I understand that. Just continue this statement. I understand that. Number 2, I realize that. And number 3, I need to learn more about. So, those are the things that you need to reflect on. So, ano ba yung mga naintindihan ninyo? What have you realized? And what are the things that you need to learn more about this lesson? Or maybe kahit, wala dito sa lessons, maybe lessons that we need to know this. Diba? A company lesson, katulad ng bawa ng binanggit ko kanina, yung 30, 60, 90 triangle, no? So, what are those things pa na kailangan nyo matutunan to get through this type of lesson? Okay? So, yun lang po. Thank you so much and goodbye.